a woman to rule over them, number one. And tonight's lecture as well, the women of Islam in the house of Allah, that subject is also written out as an essay in that book. No, Islam does not permit the rule of a woman over men. Now, any other questions, or shall we? Yes?
Yeah, go on. I'm looking at the evolving roles and responsibilities of women, particularly in the advancement of technology and how their behavior changes. What is your comment on TV as a medium of perhaps at the job and soaps and those kind of things changing the structure of women's role?
Television certainly has its benefits, but Dajjal is very skillful. He gives you something in which there is manifest benefit, so that you have to accept it. But then he put in a little piece of 5% of poison. So as you take the 95% of the apple and you eat it, you'll also get the 5% of the poison in you. Taliban in Afghanistan banned television, and it didn't work, because as soon as Taliban was pushed aside, the Afghan people hungrily returned to television. So it appears to me, and of course only Allah does not make mistakes, that the better way to deal with the problem would be to effect some control over television, so that we can benefit from it when it is beneficial and be protected from it when it is harmful. How to do that? I think the worst way would be to establish a censorship, and the best way would be self-censorship. So if we are blessed, inshallah, to establish the Muslim village, we would ban television from the home. No televisions in the home. But in the same way, like you have what is known as the internet cafe. So the village would have a common room where there are television sets, and those who would like to come and watch television can come in the common room. But whatever you are seeing, others will be seeing. And when you see something on the television set about which you even have doubt in your hearts that this is haram, you will yourself go and change the channel, rather than have someone come to you and tell you this is haram. So in this way we will not be accused in the village of imposing a censorship, but rather the people themselves will be self-censoring themselves. About the role of women in society, so long as a woman has the permission of her husband to work outside the home, so long as she is in hijab, so long as the work that she is doing is not haram, so long as she conducts herself in public in a manner which conforms with the norms of conduct of Islam, and so long as the prohibited space between a man and a woman is not violated, then she commits no sin. However, you do not go outside to work and have a slave in the home to take care of the home. You know, the black woman, the African woman, and she's paid the salary of a dog. It is, of course, the salary of a dog if your daughter will not work for it. And no woman in your social circle will work for that salary. None. You know it. If your daughter will not work for that salary, and if no woman in your social circle will work for that salary, then that's the salary of a dog. You're oppressing her. You're oppressing her. Instead of oppressing her, I have said marry her. If you marry her, and you have children with her, and then you use her family, which now becomes your family. You use your family to reach out to help the poor women of her community. Remember the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, that one man would have to maintain how many women? Huh? Come on, say it a little louder now. Yes, one man would have to maintain 50 women. He's talking about these women. The ones who are exploited, the ones who are oppressed. In Singapore, our daughters from Indonesia have to serve those who are hostile to Islam, the ruling tribe. They have to cook pork. Yeah. They have to serve pork. Yeah. Sometimes they have to eat pork. Yeah. They have to work full time, no holiday. None. Some of them even have to work with their wombs, which is why many of them commit suicide by throwing themselves off the high-rise buildings. And at the end of the month they're paid the salary of a dog. So marry her. And if you marry her, and you use her family as a means for which you reach out to the poor, to help them, the women, in particular the women, then tomorrow when the bloodbath comes to this country, it is come. It's coming. Because the Prophet said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, he said, if you have land, hold on to your land. He's talking about this age. If you have animals, hold on to your animals. And then a man asks, O Messenger of Allah, what about if I have no land and no animals? In this country he will say, O Messenger of Allah, they took away my land. And they never gave it back. Nelson Mandela's constitution is a different matter. I never got back my land. They still have it. O Messenger of Allah, what about if you have no land and no animals, what do? He said, sharpen your sword. If people want to condemn Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam for that statement, that's their business. But these are his words, sharpen your sword. And they are going to sharpen their sword in this country one day. And when they do sharpen their swords in this country one day, then the enemies of Islam are going to bring all the money they have to pay mercenaries to go and attack the Muslims. They'll do it. What do? You remain sitting ducks at that time, as you were in Sri Lanka. If you sit down and do nothing, you'll be wiped out. If you sit down and do nothing. But if you follow this advice, then the poor of this country would say, welcome to Islam. We now have Islam in this country. Look what Islam is doing. The government can't do it. And the poor will then protect you and save you. So she can work, but on the condition that she does not have a slave in the house, paid the salary of a dog, to take care of the home while she is at work. Any more questions?
Doesn't that apply to all colonized countries?
All foreigners in this country?
All colonized countries. Their land was taken away.
If a colonizer decolonizes, and having decolonized, the indigenous people of the country are embraced. And eventually there is no distinction between the two.